Wouldn't it feel great to be able to just sit down at the piano anytime you want and play the worship songs you love? Or to have the confidence and skill to play the piano or keyboard on your worship team at church? How about leading worship from the piano? Well, believe it or not, all these things are finally possible, even if you've never played the piano before in your life. Hi, my name is Jared Messer, and I've created a system that allows anyone to learn to play worship piano like a pro. It doesn't matter how much experience, skill, or musical ability you currently have, and it doesn't take years to master. You can be up and creating professional-sounding music on the piano in a matter of days. Now, you may be thinking, yeah, right, but it's true. It's already working for students of all different skill levels and backgrounds all around the world. Let me explain how it works. Learning to play the piano the traditional way can take years. It's day after day and week after week of working on scales, exercises, note reading, and practice. But what if, instead of all that, you only focused on the things you needed to know to play worship piano? Then, what if you took those few complicated skills and broke them down into even smaller steps that were simple to learn and easy to play? From there, you could combine these steps together and you'd be playing. Well, that's exactly what I did. You see, as a professional musician, I began to see patterns in the way the pros played. The patterns weren't overly complicated, but sounded fantastic. Well, based on those patterns, I created something called worship piano skill sets. And this is really what makes it possible to learn to play so quickly. Ever heard the saying that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step? Well, learning to play the piano can seem like that kind of a journey, very far off and seemingly impossible to reach. But from the moment you start using worship piano skill sets, you understand why they dramatically shorten the time and effort it takes to get you there. But even more than just getting you there quickly, you'll get professional sounding results at the same time. Now, we had a piano training course on our site already called Worship Piano Beginner to Pro, and the response to that was fantastic. People like Messa and JJ said, "The very best. I will go over and over watching this course. I believe without a doubt my piano playing will tremendously improve." Or Stephen, who said, "I've already started playing songs I thought I would never get. I have studied notes but never chords and have never been instructed in chords. This is so great." Or Eric, who said, "This course was the best investment I could have made, and I'm so glad I found it. Jared presented and distilled musical concepts in a way that was so easy to implement." But even with all the great results we were seeing, I knew we could still give more. So I thought, what if I took the strongest parts of worship piano beginner to pro and combined them with the worship piano skill sets? So that's what I did. We kept all the best elements of that highly rated course, added in the worship piano skill sets, but then we massively expanded it even farther by adding a ton of other stuff. And since it grew out of the original course, we called the new system Worship Piano Beginner to Pro 2.0. This is the culmination of decades of learning, teaching, and playing. Without a doubt, it's the ultimate worship piano learning system. Let me tell you about everything we've included in Worship Piano Beginner to Pro 2.0. First, the worship piano skill sets. Each of the 4 skill sets has 2 parts, learn and practice. In the Learn section, you'll watch a short video showing you exactly how to do the skill in a particular key. And then in the Practice section, you perform that skill to a metronome. And to make it easier for you, we've included all the practice videos for you. They range from slow for absolute beginners all the way up to pro-level speeds. So all you have to do is click play and follow me. And the practice sessions use something I like to call song style, which means they feel more like songs than practices. So if you were thinking this was filled with boring, monotonous exercises, think again. These practices are fun. The idea is that each skill set is developing in you a different element of playing worship piano, kind of like targeting specific muscles in a workout to maximize your fitness. We do that with each of the 4 skill sets. Let me tell you about them. The first one is something I call 1 to 5. Finger independence in the right hand is crucial for playing melodies and runs, and our 1 to 5 skill set makes it easier to do both. You see, in worship music, anytime you play a melody or a run of notes, it's almost always in the right hand. That's why our 1 to 5 skill set focuses mainly on the right hand. The 1 to 5 skill set helps you learn the notes of the scale much faster, but it also develops your finger playing speed, precision, and dexterity. The second worship piano skill set is ERH, which stands for Easy Right Hand. ERH is a skill set, but much more. It's also a style of play I discovered many years ago. With it, you can play just about any worship song with the same pattern over and over, but it sounds amazing and very professional. I've used ERH in live performances, studio work, and leading worship. It always creates a rich, modern, contemporary worship sound, and it's brain-dead simple. Here's a quick story. I taught my 10-year-old daughter the basics of the ERH skill set. She used it to play piano along with me on vocals and guitar for a family funeral. I played the artist recording for her a few times. We had just 3 rehearsals, but she killed it, playing it perfectly. People couldn't believe it when I told them she'd only heard the song for the first time just 3 days before. And I know it'll work just as well for you. And after you progress through the practices in more than one key, all the keys are included, you'll be able to sit down in any setting with just about any song and almost instantly be able to play along like a pro. It's really crazy. The third skill set is ELH, which stands for Easy Left Hand. When playing contemporary worship music, it's not easy to know what to do with your left hand, especially when you might only have a chord chart or a lead sheet to follow. Well, I realized at one point that I use a very simple formation in my left hand, and I use it almost all the time. It changes a little, but basically the same thing over and over. That's not to say it's out of place or it sounds bad. Quite the opposite. It's actually the same thing you hear on most recordings. And once you learn and practice the ELH skill set, you'll see for yourself how easy it is. And then you'll always know exactly what to play in the left hand. Back in high school, I stumbled on something. There was a pop song I learned to play, I won't say which one, but the main progression, which is the pattern of chords, the main progression in the song used almost every chord that you play in a major key. So I thought, if I could change this a little and learn it in every key, I'd be able to play any song in any key I want. So I started playing this chord progression over and over, kind of made it into a game. I tried to see how fast I could play it. I'd go up and down from one key to the next until I could play it in every key without even thinking. In a pretty short amount of time, I got really fast. It catapulted my skill in playing worship music. And even now, all these years later, I see how that little progression was huge for me. That progression is the last skill set. I call it ECP, which stands for Every Chord Progression. And once you learn it and begin to practice it in